Next up, we got a featherweight clash here between Jung Lee, who comes in at minus 250, going up against Gaston Bolanos, who comes in at plus 210. Now, Lee is stepping in on short notice for fellow countryman Ju Sang Yu, who was forced out of this matchup due to injury. And now Lee is looking to snap a 2-fight losing streak to try to get back into the win column. That first loss came at the hands of Haider Emil in a matchup that was fought at a frantic pace and only lasted about 65 seconds. We saw Lee land some good shots and even snap the head back of Emil a few times, so I don't rag on him too much in terms of engaging in that pocket exchange with Emil. Unfortunately for him, that's a spot where you flip a coin and whoever's turn ends up there will more than likely get the win. And unfortunately for Lee, it was Emil who had landed the seminal blow to get that finish in 65 seconds. Then Lee tried bouncing back in his next matchup against Daniel Santos, a fight that many expected to play out in the striking realm, and I really thought the technical advantages of Lee would lead to him winning that fight. Unfortunately, Santos had other plans. Santos mixed up the game very well, landed several takedowns to really grind Lee out and keep him on his back, and I don't think Lee was really expecting that type of approach from Wily Cat. Now Lee, still a guy with a ton of potential, 30 years old, very good striking, good technique, stinging power, and does have a decently active guard off of his back, but grappling is often where opponents look to take him to try to muzzle and contain the style that he brings to the table. Now he's going up against Gaston Bolanos, who's coming off of a submission loss to Kwang Lee. Now before that, he did pick up a decision win over Cortavius Romius, where we saw him start to flex his grappling muscles a bit. He is more of a striker, flashy combinations and spinning stuff and flying stuff, but in that Romius fight, we saw him get taken down at the starting of each round, but he showed off his grappling skills by pulling off reversos and getting some good control time of his own to steal rounds back in his favor and ultimately get the win on the scorecards. Unfortunately, he couldn't do that against Kwang Lee, who did a great job in terms of getting him to the ground almost immediately in the first round, riding that back position, not letting go of the body lock at all, and that eventually led to him getting that submission in the second round when Bolanos couldn't have much success in terms of working back to his feet. And that's kind of the hole that's been in Bolanos' game throughout his mixed martial arts career. I thought his performance against Marcus McGee was a flat performance and not a good representation of what Bolanos normally brings to the table, and I think that's why we saw him look even better against Romius. This is a fight here, though, against Jung Lee, where we'll probably see Bolanos get to flex those striking skills a little bit more. I'd be surprised if Lee looks to chase a grapple-heavy approach similar to what Kwang Lee did. I'm expecting him to mix it in here and there, but not be as dead set on keeping Bolanos on his back. I expect this to be a little bit more of a competitive striking battle, so to see Lee all the way up at minus 250 is a little surprising to me. I'm expecting this to be a little bit more competitive, and that leads me to believe that the public probably sees it the same way, so we'll probably see some love on Bolanos start to come in throughout fight week. But even with that said, I am not privy on taking that shot on Bolanos. He has shown himself to be flat in certain spots, and I think Lee is a better striker in terms of establishing his dominance, his speed, his power, his straight shots down the pipe, and I think that will allow him to land better shots here against Bolanos and eventually win this fight on the scorecards. Another spot where the over is whispering in my ear a little bit. I think that's at a decent plus money spot as well, but I'm thinking Lee ends up outstriking Bolanos and winning this fight on the scorecards.